Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing one of the most versatile timepieces of the 2000s. It's the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Memovox 41.5mm in stainless steel. You can see this versatile diving alarm and purchase it on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy all of these videos. And of course, click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Memovox diving alarm. Now of course, whenever I have an alarm watch, you're wondering, how does it sound? Well, allow me to indulge. And that's only partial wind. As you can hear, this caliber 918 is vocal and it has a long run duration to ensure that it will in fact wake you up at bedside. Now on my 16cm circumference wrist, you can see that the watch fits well, 41.5mm across the round of the case, not including the internal rotating bezel crown at 10 o'clock or the compressor crowns on the 3 o'clock side. It's not an excessively thick watch, though it's certainly not slim. 15.5mm thick, but most of that actually nestles into your wrist once you have the bracelet sized and buckled down, so it will only ride about 13mm off the wrist, meaning you should be fine to wear this watch with a suit jacket or sport jacket or blazer sleeve. No concerns there. With regard to the lug-to-lug span, it's fairly compact. 49.9mm, it stays right under the crucial threshold for smaller wrists. I consider the crucial threshold to be 50mm lug to lug if your wrist is what I call smaller, so about 14 to 16.5 centimeters in circumference. Now adding the bracelet, which is a rare accessory for this model, does add a little bit more span across the wrist, increasing the horizontal measurement to 53.2, but as you can see, the bracelet can be pulled straight down, so it doesn't create an encumbrance, nor does it attempt to flare out over the edge of your wrist. I believe that the bracelet can be worn by anyone who could wear this watch on a strap and vice versa. There's no difference in fit. The bracelet is a superb piece. Originally released in 1998 for the Reverso Grand Sport series, this 5-link design has been an enduring one for Jaeger-LeCoultre. It's both substantial and thoughtfully designed, as what appear to be pins and sleeves are actually spring bars, allowing you to quickly and easily use a strap tool to size down your bracelet, and you'll note that all of the links are individually removable for precise sizing. The timepiece does have a wonderful clasp. Quadruple trigger. When closed, it's low in profile to avoid desk diving scars, but you also have to release all 4 triggers to fully deploy, so you have absolute security against accidental deployment. Now there are also micro adjustments built in. You can see the micro adjustment silhouetted against the white backdrop of my light box. If you were to take in both sides, it has 2 micro adjustments. It would be the equivalent of removing one sizable link. Each side is the equivalent of the width of one removable link for precise sizing. Now the bracelet is also nicely finished, as you can see, with a combination of facets on the flanks, satin down the center, and then polished shoulder links. On the underside, you can see broad channels between the links to allow for aeration of the wrist on a hot day, as well as avoidance of pinching skin or pulling hair. The case is simple and will be familiar to those who remember the Jaeger-LeCoultre line from the 2000s, as this case, in fact this exact code 146 case, was used on everything from the dive watch you see here to tourbillon and alarm perpetual calendars. The timepiece does have a rather heavy and deep lug design, which is perhaps a bit more severe than some of the subsequent master cases, but it does have the profile and the ambience of a robust butch contemporary men's complication. It doesn't feel like a dress watch, and I actually consider that to be positive for the wrist stance and presence of a diver. And it is a diver with an internal rotating bidirectional bezel. It's properly the successor to the original Polaris diving alarm, as this model debuted in 2002, long before the 2008 tribute to Polaris, and you can line up that internal bezel with the minute hand for an impromptu 0 to 60 minute countdown. I find this is quite user-friendly, and I prefer a dive bezel, especially a user-friendly internal system with a crown adjustment, to a chronograph mechanism, as I find most of what I measure on a chronograph is going to be less than an hour anyway. Now improve our focus right there, and you'll note that the watch is beautifully presented with a combination of the red, white, and black sporting tritone, beloved of sports watch purists, and the watch does have a spectacular lume shot, which you'll see at the end of this video. The alarm is set using the semicircle dial on the 9 o'clock side, and you quite literally just line up the numeral. If you want to set 7:30, you just pick the point between 7 and 8. If you want to set 6:30, you pick the point between 6 and 7. It's that simple. You just line up with the triangular index. Now the watch does have a little bit of depth to its dial, so it has a little bit of a animated and quirky aesthetic, and that was a function of the young woman who designed almost all of the JLC men's watches during the 2000s. They do have a unifying aesthetic that can be considered 2000s Jaeger-LeCoultre, but also lively, fun, and boisterous. Now, one feature that I have to call out is the fact that the watch has a little bit of an unconventional quick-set system for the date. Since this is the older caliber 918, it doesn't have a conventional quick-set. 918 succeeded the original rotor-wound Memovox caliber 916 in 1969. And if you want to change the date, what you do is you roll through midnight, then you roll back to 9, and you advance again. And you continue this process as many times as necessary to reach the current date. You will notice, however, the caliber 918 does feature hacking seconds. It's also a 45-hour power reserve, and thanks to the Compressor Crown system, the watch is water resistant down to 100 meters. The Compressor Crowns are brilliant. Not only are they visually distinctive, as I said, all of these watches are fairly spunky in appearance, but you have a color-coded system. Red, you're dead. White, you're tight, and it's that simple. A half turn to lock, a half turn to unlock. All of the alarm functions, winding and setting, performed with the Crown at 2 o'clock. All of the functions for time of day date, as well as winding the mainspring, performed using the Crown at 4 o'clock. Underneath the case back, subject to the Master 1000-hour fully cased up test of chronometry, resistance, winding efficiency, and power reserve, we have that caliber 918, 22 joules, automatic winding, 28,800 vibrations per hour, 45-hour power reserve. It's an old school tank tough Memovox alarm. And yes, the case back medallion is solid rose gold, featuring the old geosphere symbol from the original 1958 Geophysic. This is a watch that does it all. It's the right size at 41.5 that in this day and age you can wear it with just about anything. This is no longer a sports watch case size. This is an all-arounder, a truly versatile watch, in my opinion, with an alarm, the ultimate travel complication. With the dive watch functionality, it's also the ultimate summer timepiece. A watch on a bracelet that you can throw on and jump into the water without a care about soaking down leather. This is truly the most desirable, versatile, and as these are already beginning to build a collector base, collectible of the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Memovox series. See it and own it on our website. And we're back with the Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Memovox diving alarm. 100-meter water-resistant automatic winding in stainless steel with full bracelet. You can see and you can purchase this diving alarm from the 2000s on our website.